Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. My name is Wendy and this is my mobile home sweet home. Quite a few weeks ago, a few months ago, might even have been a year ago, I'm not really sure. But anyway, I had previously done a tutorial on how to make a walker bag, and it really wasn't a very good tutorial. I just kind of talked about the steps and the things I did. It really wasn't, I don't think anyone would classify it as a true tutorial. And apparently other people thought the same thing because I've had a couple of requests for a better tutorial and that one that actually showed the actual process. So I'm honoring that request. Most of you probably could care less about this, but for those of you that are interested, I thank you very much for being here. So let's get started. One thing that influenced my pattern creation was I use fat quarters for the fabric because they are there's a really good variety of them, and they are also inexpensive. And since I don't ever charge for my bags, I have to kind of try to keep the cost down as much as I can. So that's why I use fat quarters, and I drew my pattern pieces accordingly. So let me lower this down a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about. Well, darn it. Oh, there we go. Sorry, you guys. Okay, so what I do is I always use a solid piece and a pattern, and a piece that has a design on it. And if you don't know what a fat quarter is, they are pieces of fabric and they measure approximately anywhere from 18 to 19 inches by 20, 21. So this is how big they are. And I get all of mine at Walmart because that's the only option here in my area. So the solid pieces, I think, they're cheaper than the printed piece, usually as a rule, and is they have bundles of them. Like this bundle I got was kind of a patriotic theme, and so it had this one here with the dogs and the flags, which I thought was so cute. But what I do is I put the right sides together, but you have to iron them first because they come folded around these squares of cardboard, so they're quite wrinkled when you take them out of their packaging. So I always iron them first because it's just a lot easier to work with, and it does make a difference, I think. Excuse me. So the supplies you will need are your pattern pieces, and I'll go over that better here in a second. Your fabric, pins, and I always put a carabiner in my bags. I put what I call a key clip on the inside of each one. And these carabiners I get are so nice. I get these on Amazon, and they just have the prettiest colors. And what I use for my for the key clip to attach to, I use this little it's seam binding, and it's just this thin stuff, and I just cut a 3-inch piece and fold it in half and tuck it up underneath the hem that goes around the top, and then the carabiner hooks onto that. But again, that's something we'll get to here in a little bit. Also Velcro, about a 4-inch piece of this for along the top, which again will come. That's like actually the last step. So anyway, my pattern pieces are very simple. Have the body of the bag is 15 by 15. The pocket is 7 inches by 5 inches, and the straps are 10 inches long by 2.5 inches wide. But for me, this is what I do, and it's worked out great. So Anyway, so I'm going to pin this stuff on and then we'll start cutting it out. Okay, so now all the pieces are cut out. And now I'm going to go to the machine and sew the body together. That's the first thing I do. And then I will be right back. Okay, I have finished sewing around the edge. You can see that the bag is still wrong side out. Right sides are together. I sewed around, oops, sorry, around the three sides, leaving the top still open. And what I do is I sew around regular straight stitch, and then I go and I zigzag around the perimeter to help keep it from fraying. Okay, so the next step I do is I am going to go back to the machine, oh no, excuse me, back to my ironing board and I fold this edge down a 1/2 inch and I press it, and then I fold it again one more time and press it, and then I sew it. I just sew around, and at that time is when I attach the loop for the key rings. So I'm going to go do that, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got the top hem sewn in. As you can see, you fold it over a 1/2 inch and press it, and then fold it over again and press it, and then sew around. And I just sew right down the middle. Sometimes I do it closer to the edge down here at the bottom, but it's just a lot easier just to put that foot right in the middle of it. Okay, I've got the pockets sewn on now. Down this side, across the bottom, up this side. And you want to back stitch at each of the points, beginning and ending, so that it gives you a good firm stitching there so it doesn't pull away. Okay, so bag is still wrong side out. Okay, now we've got our two straps and I need to sew these together. These are still right sides together, so I'm going to sew down this side across the bottom and back up here, and then I'm going to turn them right side out, flip the top down just about so far, just enough to flip it down and press that hem in, and then turn them right side out. And I will come back and show you where I position them on the bag to attach them. Okay, now I've turned the bag right side out. You can see there's the pocket. And oops, there's a stray thread, and there's the loop. Oops, sorry, there's the loop for the key clip. Okay, I've sewed the straps, sew them, turn them right side out, and at the top, I had to fold it down a little bit and then press it. Everything gets ironed. Press it and then stitch it. So you turn it right side out, you sew it, turn it right side out, fold the top down about a 1/4 inch or so, it doesn't take much. Press it with your iron and then stitch it closed, just as near to the top as you can. Okay. And now we want to attach those to the bag. And this is, again, just the way I do it. I have my nifty little tape measure here. This poor tape measure, it has a staple in it and tape. Because one time I was measuring something, I was cutting out some fabric and I snipped it with my scissors. Couldn't believe it. Oh, anyway, sorry, back to the topic here. And what I do, I attach the straps 3 inches from the side. And see, here's this, where it, the front begins and the back begins right here at this seam. So 3 inches in from that. So here we have 3 inches. So this is where I attach the strap, and I just bring it down even with the folded over hem, see, like so. Okay, and then I'm gonna sew around it, side, bottom, side, across the top, and I'm going to do that on both sides, obviously. Be kind of funny if it only had one strap. Okay, oops, my mistake. I attached it to the front and not the back. Okay, Wendy. Sorry, you guys. Okay, we'll try this again. So, from the side, over 3 inches. There's 3 inches. And attach this strap. Okay, now this is right. Jeez. Don't know the front from the back. Okay, so here we go. You can see I've attached it 3 inches in from the side. Then I'm going to go over to this side and do the same thing. Right to here. Let's check that because I think I lost. It's easier if it's laying down flat on the table than holding it up, but I was just doing that so I could show you. Yep, it's 3 inches. So okay, now I'm gonna just slip one pin in there just to hold it in place, and then I'm going to go sew it. All right, so both straps are sewn on. I want to show you how nice they turn out. You just sew. You can see how I sewed that on there. I just do across the, oops, across the top, down the side, across the bottom, up the side. And I just tried, just go slow. If you're not used to, sewing, just go slow and take your time and just do your best. And if you don't like it, you have a seam ripper, just tear your stitches out and sew it over again. I can't tell you how many times I have ripped out seams. And anyone that sews will most likely tell you the same thing. Okay, so both straps are attached. Now, then we're almost done. Just this one more step and then put the snaps on and then we'll be totally done. Got my Velcro. I cut these 4 inches long. And I just kind of eyeball where they fit in at. I put them right between the straps. Just kind of right there. It doesn't have to be exact, but who am I kidding? It'd drive me nuts if they weren't exact. Okay, I just eyeball them, eyeball to get it between the straps in an equal distance. And I used to pin these on, but this stuff's really hard to get a pin through. And so I have these nifty little clips that I think quilters use them a lot, but they are very, very handy for sewing projects, and they clip really tight, so they work really good. So just clip that in place and then line it up. I just kind of fold this down a little bit like so and place this one. Put this one in place so it lines up with the other side. And clip that in place. And then of course I'm going to check and make sure, yep, it's evenly matched. So these are just taking a minute to sew these on, so I'm going to go do that now. All right, the Velcro is attached like so. And now the final step. Yes, we've finally arrived at the end. We are going to attach the snaps. Now, if you don't have to use snaps, this is just what I do. You can use Velcro. I guess that would be about your only other option if you didn't want to use snaps, but I use these snaps because I already had them. And as you can see, I've got a lot. There's even more back in my sewing room than what I've got right here. Because when you buy these, they come in a container full of all these different colors, and you get quite a bit. So, and when you buy them, they come with, the kit comes with this squeezer thing. Boy, that could probably use some oil, and this poker thing that you poke the hole through the fabric to insert your snap. I think I'm going to use the dark blue with this one. I was going to use red, but nah. I think this time, I just used red on the last 2 I made, so I'm kind of tired of it. So I think this time I'll use blue. So I'm going to need, all total, I'm going to need 4 of the buttons. And when I say button, this is what I mean. It's a cap with a little stem on it. Okay, so I'm going to need 2 for each side. So there's 4 of those. And then you have a female and a male side to the snaps. And they look like so. This is the male side, and this is the female side. When you close when you snap together, that side goes into that side. Okay, hence the names. Yes. Okay, so super easy to do. And again, this was something I already had on hand because I also make hospital gowns, and I, originally started using snaps for those, so they could snap up the back and across the shoulders. So, okay, turn it this way. take the male one first, and this is just the way I do it. And you squeeze that down onto that button, and it flattens out that stem that was sticking out of the button, and so that's what holds the snap-on. Then what I do, just poke the hole right in the center of that box I sewed on there so it lines up perfectly. Okay, there we go. Ta-da! Super duper easy. And I've already, so there we go. Like I said, I donate these, and it would be great if, everybody could make a couple and maybe donate them to a local senior citizen center or nursing homes or maybe veterans, anything you can think of. But they just work out really good for people that have walkers. And I think they work on both kinds of walkers, the kind that, you see people that have the tennis balls on the legs, those kind. I forget what those are called, but the other kind of walker that has the bar in front with the padding on it, I believe those are called a rollator. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I really hope this tutorial is a help to somebody. Please let me know in the comments if you have any questions. Thank you so much for watching.